Hi and welcome everybody. Let's check the time. It's 6:30 right on the nose. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It is a beautiful autumnal sort of feel today, so I put on the faux fireplace for y'all so you can get a sense of just what it feels like here. It's really lovely. For those of you who, it is allowing me to see comments. Okay. For those of you who, are you hearing me okay? Hi, John. Nancy, hi. Hello to everybody. If for some reason you lose connection, or if I lose connection, which is rare, but it happens, simply refresh the page and the video will come back up. You'll have access to the replay if you miss anything, so don't worry about it, okay? I just want you all to relax, enjoy. In fact, let's take a nice deep breath together. That feels good. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. So the replay will be available. If we cut out, just refresh. Sometimes people are a little late, so I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes. While we're waiting, I will just, hold on. I got to get them to stop talking. Hold on. Stop talking. Okay, so while we're waiting, let's talk about just a couple of things here. Thank you for connecting with us. For those of you who don't know, we do have a Radiant Sources Facebook page. Please like it. We post a lot of information there, a lot of channels. Future events will go up there. Also, we have our Radiant Sources weekly meeting and subscription page. We're just starting some very, it's an intimate group. It allows more of a one-to-one with the professors. The professors and I are in there once a week, doing a live channel, taking questions, answering questions live. For those who can't make the live in the group, replay is always available, and questions, you can put whatever questions you want in the group. So it might be something for you to consider. It's our Radiant Sources weekly meeting and monthly subscription page. What else? For those of you who do not know what channeling is, I know from the registration list there's some people, there's many actually I don't know, who are here. I don't know what you're familiar with, what you're not familiar with. So real quick, my name is Stacey Kirchwell. Let me introduce myself. My name is Stacey Kirchwell. I am a wife, mother, grandma, and a mom to an amazing fur kid, my boxer Roscoe. I'm also a conscious channel. What does that mean? It means that I have the ability to connect to higher streams of consciousness, and they download packets of information to me that then I translate. I sort of unravel it in real time. They use the words. They use the words that I have in the library of my brain. God help them. To actually put these packets into words. I assist as much as possible. It's very much a partnership. I am fully conscious, fully aware, fully alert, fully present. I do not go into a trance or anything like that. This is an ability we all have. I am not especially gifted more than anyone else. We are spirit beings having a human experience. And as spirit beings, we speak in a telepathic manner when we are not in body. So just because we come into body and we are physical extensions of our soul does not mean that we've lost that ability. We all have it. Some of us come in with, I like to say, a stronger muscle. Some of us come in with an agreement to partner. We come into this life with an agreement to partner with certain group consciousnesses in spirit. There are many channelers like me. You can just search the web. Again, this is not a unique thing to me. I am not especially gifted. We all have this ability. Any reputable channeler, any reputable psychic, any reputable medium will tell you that they are not especially gifted. It's something you can do as well. So, tonight we're going to talk with the professors. The professors are a group who came in about 11 years ago. 17 years ago, a little over 17 years ago, I was at a channeling thing, or like it was like a meditation group or a spiritual group. I didn't really know what was going on. And after a few times of going there, I sat in a chair. I sat in my chair one evening, and I felt something going on with my body. I'm not going to lie, I panicked a little bit. I had these heart palpitations. I felt like something was stuck here in my throat. And the moderator, the facilitator of the meditation group asked, "Stacey, do you have something you want to share?" And as soon as he said that, I started talking, and I didn't even know. It wasn't me talking. I wasn't scared though at that point. I was okay. I was just going with it. And it turned out to be Mother Mary, who at that time I had absolutely no conscious connection to. I did not grow up venerating her. To me, she was the mother of Jesus, and that was it. So that really surprised me. And all of this love that I felt coming through, I knew that it was absolutely a higher consciousness. It had nothing to do with me whatsoever. And then the following week, this whole group consciousness came through, and they introduced themselves as the collective. Well, they didn't introduce themselves as the collective. They became the collective to me, because they, when they introduced themselves, they said that there were so many in the group that it would be impossible to name them all or to number them all. But they spoke as one collective thought, one collective voice. So they just naturally became the collective to me. And I worked in partnership with them for several years. And then so that was 17 years ago. 11 years ago, I was with a core group of friends who I would usually channel for. We would get together and we would channel. When the energy felt a little different. Now, the collective to me, I perceive their energy as being very celestial. There's a certain naivete to their energy. There's a certain purity to their energy. And this new energy that was coming in felt very brash, very different from the collective's energy. But I'd been learning to trust this process for years already, so I just went with it. The professors popped in, they said, "We are the professors." And at that time, they said they were a group of 8 ascended masters. Now, ascended masters, you can look up this information on the internet. There's a ton of information about the ascended masters. But basically, they're ones like Jesus and Buddha, along that kind of, along those sort of lines. But you can look that up. And they were a group of 8. Since then, since 11 years ago, the group has expanded exponentially. I wouldn't even be able to give you all the names or number of this group consciousness that now I channel. We've become very, very good friends. I go through my life with them on a daily basis. They're always interjecting. They're always I always feel them right here over my right shoulder. I always feel them. They're always, always very present. They do not interfere in my life, however. In my personal life and making my decisions, things like that. They do not interfere. They are very vocal when it comes to certain things they want to do in our partnership, like me getting out of my fear and doing a worldwide webcast. Again, I was doing them years ago, and then I just stopped, and so they were like, "Nope, we're going back in." So I said, okay. Again, I can always say no. They will defer to me. It's not like they have control over me or anything. God bless them if they thought they could have control over me. But like I said, I've just learned to trust things with them. So they're going to be the ones who are going to talk tonight. They've lived on Earth, whereas the collective have never embodied. They have never come into physicality here on the Earth. The professors have. So the professors understand human emotion. They understand the highs and lows of being human. They understand the fears. They understand the joys. They also understand the bullshit games we play with ourselves in our minds. They also understand that. So they'll call that kind of stuff out, especially in private one-on-one sessions. If you think you're going to get a pass from the professors, no, you're not going to. But they do it in such a way, they're like those really good, that really, really good friend who's going to look at you and say, what are you, nuts? And be really honest with you and bring your behavior to your attention so that you can shift it. And that's how the professors are. But it's always done from a total place of love. So, with that said, I love my husband too, John. Thank you. In fact, a big shout out to my Mark, who is off camera. He's monitoring the stream on the website to make sure it's running smoothly. So, babe, thank you so much for being my partner in this, sweetheart. Thank you. All right, I'm going to take a nice deep breath. The professors, while they're always sort of right over my shoulder and always very present, they move in a lot closer when we're going to have a visit with you all. How I feel them, they sort of move in. I get a vibration about midway up my spine, and that's where they connect. There's then a connection that gets made. It's sort of like energy to energy on a deeper level. So with that, I'm going to take a nice deep breath. Hi, Claudia. Welcome. Welcome all of you, even if you're not typing in the chat. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, let me take a nice deep breath. Also, for those of you who have never seen me channel before, I usually channel with my eyes open and I'm walking around and everything. But for these sorts of things, I just sit at my desk here. I also keep my eyes closed so that I'm not distracted by your lovely comments coming in. And by my image on the screen. Everybody, let's take a nice, deep, collective breath together. Also, I wasn't going to make this available for question and answer afterwards. I still may not. I wasn't aware that messages could come up in the chat like this. I'm not going to make any promises, okay? But we'll keep that open. We'll keep that open. It's also through the breath that I connect with them. It's also through taking deep breaths that you can connect with spirit as well. Science teaches us that the breath is one thing, and that it is necessary for survival in the physical body. but it's also necessary for connection. And good day to you, dear ones. We are very grateful to have this time with you. We are very grateful that you had scheduled your life around being here with us. And for those of you who will tune in for the recording, the replay, we are wanting to thank you as well for making time to come and visit with us. Indeed, it is a very wonderful day. The last month we have been, we often communicate with Stacey when we want her attention. We often communicate with her through music because she is a lover of music. And so we often communicate with her to get her attention through song, and she is usually very good and will know if the song pops into her head that it is from us, and she is usually very quick to pick up on what it is we are wanting her to draw her attention to within the song. This time, though, however, not so much. We put a song, it is called The Rising. Stacey is interjecting, by Bruce Springsteen. It is not a song that she generally goes to. So she knew that it was something that we put into her head. And she looked up the lyrics, she found out what the song was about, she thought she was in the right direction. We let her think she was in the right direction. And this last month that we have been sort of putting it into her consciousness for her to play it, which she has been playing it over almost every day, and she plays it a little bit on a loop, and that is sort of out of character for her, especially for it to be for a month like that. But we were nudging her, and she's always very gracious with us, most times. And it wasn't really the lyrics of the song, the words of the song. It had nothing to do with the meaning behind the song or why the song was written. Today, Stacey came to the realization, and I had to give her the realization, that the song was about the title, The Rising. And this is what we would like to speak with you about this evening, dear ones. We are wanting to welcome you to a new day. We are wanting to welcome you to a new a timeline. Now, you ask, what is a timeline? A timeline, when you come into planet Earth, individually and collectively, you all come in with many, many different potentials. In other words, there are potentials that you can reach into and pull out on. You come in with the potential of being rich, you come in with the potential of being poor, you come in with the potential of choosing from any number of partners as mates. There are so many, we cannot even really define how many potentials you each individually come in with. Basically, there is no number that can be put on it. They are innumerable. And those potentials are all there for you. Whatever it is you're wanting to be, whatever it is you're wanting to experience, whatever it is within your field of potential. Now you have that on an individual basis, but you also have that on a collective basis. All of humanity also comes in with great potentials. You come into each generation with great potentials. The great potential that many of you came in with on a collective basis we are speaking of here, although it also speaks to your individual potentials, was that you wanted to be here for the great shift of the ages, from the shift from the Piscean Age into the Aquarian Age. The Piscean Age was all about introspection. It was all about the me. It was about, as time went on, it was about building security. It was about building your wealth that you think is your security. It was about accumulating things. It was all about the me, you see. Now you have the great shift of the ages, and you are moving slowly into the Aquarian Age, which now is all about the we. It is about taking a more expansive view. It is about looking beyond your human self and recognizing that there is more connection than you were aware of before. You are all connected on the planet. And when we speak of connection, what we're really speaking about is you all have commonality of the human experience. You all experience joy, you all experience pain, you all experience whatever it is. You all love your children, you all want the best for yourself, you all want to live comfortably financially, you all want good health. So that's what we mean by, in this sense, what we're talking about connection. You're all connected in that you have the commonality of humanity, of being human. Now, on a collective level, this great shift of the ages has to do with connecting with the we. And this was one of the great potentials. And now, just because you were experiencing the shift of the ages, it didn't mean that you would move into a more humanitarian view, a more inclusive view. But the great potential of it was there. You see. So basically, you are moving now into a new timeline, a new potential, because enough on the planet are sort of getting woken up from their slumber and understanding according to their individual potentials. Remember, you are also coming in with your individual potentials, you see. And everyone on your planet came into this expression, this physical expression, this life, with the potential to reach for more, to become awakened, enlightened, whatever it is, whatever term you want to use, but awakened and enlightened to the fact that there is more to yourself, there is more to your life, there is more to everything on your planet than what the eye can see. In other words, coming in with the potential of seeing things with more expansive eyes, you see, with more eyes expansive in the way of connectedness, you see. So you all came in with that potential, and many of you are waking up to this. You are understanding this. You are dropping into the heart center. Whereas the me, the Piscean Age and me was all about the mind and the logical mind. You had all of this great scientific discoveries come in through the centuries. It was all about the mind mostly. But now the Aquarian Age is, now this sounds like a little bit of a contradiction, because Aquarius is considered an air sign, and air signs are considered all about the mind. But in this case, Aquarius is known as the water barrier, the water bearer. And water is all about emotion, you see. And so the Aquarian Age, this moving into the we, requires going into the heart center, you see, into the emotion, the heart connections with other human beings. Now, you have sort of made a jump in a timeline into a potential that is going to take humanity into a sort of a driver's lane, a race car lane, sort of, where you have jumped into this potential to move this connectedness forward faster, you see. And this is why you're seeing such turmoil on your planet right now. Basically, you were on this big cruise ship, and you were all having your individual parties, and you were doing this thing, and you were having fun, and then suddenly it was, wait a minute, there was an awakening, there was a call. For many of you, it happened quickly, especially with this pandemic that has come to your planet. That was, not only was your pandemic a sort of reset, a reboot for you to sort of pull you out and to draw you in, but the pandemic drew you in and also had you looking out to the benefit and the welfare of others, you see. Moving from the me, looking towards the we, you see. So that's only one aspect of why you had this pandemic come. But so now you are on this partying on this cruise ship, you were with all these people and you were having all of this fun, and then you all woke up and said, wait a minute, this reshift, this reset, this pandemic came along and made you pause. Now, this is not something consciously, this is not something you are consciously doing en masse. This is not something you are consciously doing. Many are not consciously doing this on a collective basis. But nonetheless, it is occurring. Because the potential was reached for, you see. By a number of you here on the planet, that potential was reached for, and it hit a critical mass where now things had to shift. So basically that ship got turned, and it got turned abruptly, not gracefully. Now, if you know anything about big ships, you know that they cannot just turn on a dime. And it created this sharp turn, the sharp shift. Now, I understand we are speaking symbolically here, but we are sort of wanting to draw a picture for you. When the turn happened, it created a stirring up of the waters. So this pandemic came, made you pause, made you look, shift from the me to the we. In shifting from the me to the we, you had to jump into another timeline. You couldn't have stayed in the old one. You couldn't have stayed in the old potential. Everything hit critical mass for you to jump into the new timeline, into the new potential. And understand all of these timelines, they sort of run concurrently with each other. And so you jumped into this new potential, this new timeline. And things on your planet heated up as a result. A lot of the ugly, so to speak, was brought to the surface. A lot of the things that humanity has kept under the surface, sort of buried it, not really wanted to address it. Oh, you addressed certain things here and there on a collective level. But it was many things were never quite put to rest, were they? They just sort of shrunk back into the shadows or got swept back under the carpet. But now with the abruptness of the timeline jump, or the potential jump, the moving faster into the energy of the Aquarian Age. You see, you chose to accelerate. Humanity on a collective level chose to accelerate. Now again, for most, it was not done on a conscious level. But remember, you are not just human, you are spirit as well. Huh? You are a physical extension of your soul, you see. And so your collective soul, Stacey is sort of giggling because she knows there is a band by this name. But your collective souls sort of had a chat and said, yes, it's time for an acceleration into the Aquarian Age. It is time for an acceleration from the me to the we, to move more fully into the we, you see. And because you are a physical extension of your soul, well, it absolutely affected you as well. And by the way, it wasn't your soul just pulling the string on a subconscious level. You were having these conversations back and forth. You are not a puppet on a string, not by any means, dear one, not by any means. You are great masters here on the planet. Great masters. You may not feel like it. You may not feel like it. But let us tell you from the eyes of spirit, you are amazing masters. So full of love. So full of wanting to move into more. So full of wanting to drop deeper into your heart spaces. But your planet isn't always making that possible for you, is it? Or other humans don't always make it so possible for you, does it? Especially in your political arenas, especially here in your United States. It is a hotbed of division. It is a hotbed of polarity. But even there, in that abrupt turn, in that abrupt shift, in the jumping into this new timeline, these things had to have come to the surface. You see, you can no longer favor one race or another. You can no longer favor the rich over the poor. You can no longer allow the benefits to only go to a certain few. There must be equity across the board, you see, because you are moving quickly into the Aquarian Age, you see. You're anchoring all of that in now, that energy. You are anchoring it in. Whether you are conscious of it or not, you are doing it. And you wonder why you're so tired? You wonder why you have aches and pains? You're all hard at work, dear ones. Very hard at work. On an energetic level. On a level you are not aware of. You wonder why you're not sleeping well? You're busy. Or perhaps you're sleeping, you need too much sleep. You're needing a lot of sleep. Oh, it's because you're busy. On an energetic level, you see. You are working hard. You are working hard to accelerate this timeline, to accelerate the move into the Aquarian Age. And this is why everything on your planet, it seems every system has been disturbed by it, as well it should. Your systems need to change in order to support your system of racism, your system of wealth, your system of health. These systems must change. They must be about the we, you see. So we would say celebrate these things as you're seeing them. Do not become so involved in them. Do not allow them to affect you so deeply where it robs you of your peace. You see, because if you allow, especially your political arena, to draw you into it so deeply, dear ones, and you go so deeply. Now, there is no judgment. If you want to play this game, absolutely play the game. But do not tell us it feels good, because we know it does not. But it does not feel good because it is not in an equal vibratory rate with being in your heart space of love, you see. So none of the division and the polarity in your politics feels good. It cannot. Take a breath with that, dear ones. So we would encourage you not to go so deeply into this arena especially. There is so much confusion. There is so much polarity, and by polarity we mean us versus them. Either you are right or you are left. There seems to be no in-between space, and yet the Aquarian Age, or the energetic of Aquarian, is about balance as well, you see. Remaining balanced. Which is very difficult for you to do if you dive so deeply into these political things. Have your opinions. Express how you feel. We are not saying to inhibit that, to stop that. But see it for what it is, dear ones. See it for that. It's a beautiful gift. All of this has come up. All of this is coming up for you all to take a look at it. Your racism, your separation, and that the gap between the ones who have money and the ones who don't, that gap has become a deeper chasm than ever, especially with this pandemic, hasn't it? Why do you think? It is for those who, it is for you to really see what is going on here. Now, we are not saying the politicians are bad. They are playing their roles beautifully. They're playing them beautifully. These businessmen, these people who sort of make the systems, the financial systems, the bankers and all of that, oh, they're playing their roles beautifully. You see, they've played them beautifully and they're continuing to play them beautifully. But it is also time for them to change their roles as well. Just as you are changing your role from the me to the we, it is time for them to change their roles as well. It is time to take off the old character and to move into a new one. And this is what the Aquarian Age and this new timeline that you're in, and this is what it's all about, you see. And so you have these huge chasms in between the haves and the have-nots, especially more so now than ever, you see. And your political system, what you are seeing in your politics, is more divisive than it's ever been. Everything is under tension. Everything, even your politics, your right, left, far left. You see, everything is getting stretched and pulled to the limit, to its breaking point. And we say, let it happen. You are breaking through glass ceilings with this. You are breaking through them. You are breaking through eons. 2,000 years and more. 2,000 years of being strictly in the me, energetic. You are breaking it all apart now to move into the we. Now it does not feel comfortable. We understand. And many of us who are speaking to you, we have lived life on earth, so we are understanding a change, especially big change. Some of us live through revolutions in our countries. We live through terrible wars. We live through terrible famines. We live through the topplings of governments. We would go to sleep one night and wake up the next day, and we would be under a totally different regime. But you see, that all happened for us in the Piscean Age, in the age of the me, where it was not looked to the benefit of the whole. Whereas you now are in this timeline where the systems are going to be, they're stretching until they're just ripped apart, so that they can be rebuilt by you in a more fair and equitable way. So we could tell you don't go into fear over this, but fear is a human thing that you are going to go into. Feel the fear. Allow yourself to feel it. But don't stay there, dear ones. Don't stay there. It will not feel comfortable for you. And on top of that, it will also bring in more for you to fear. Do not do that to yourselves. What is happening here is beautiful on your planet. What is happening here is beautiful. And that's why there are so many of us in the non-physical who are coming in now in support. Stacey mentioned earlier that there are many others who do what she does. Yes, because of those of us who are in the non-physical, we want to come in and support. It is not our planet anymore. But we are still wanting to come in to support. Why? Because even though this is not our planet, you, dear ones, are our family, you see. So we are here in loving support to give you a more expansive view, to remind you how magnificent you are, how big you are, how grand you are, to remind you how much we love you, to remind you that all eyes are on planet Earth. Ah, angels are looking down on planet Earth. Well, we use down. It's not really down. But we are looking at planet Earth. Angelic beings who have never lived on the planet are watching you. Because you are creating nothing short of miracles here. Dear human being. Think you so small, think again. You are a human extension of your soul. You are a spirit having a human experience. You are not human. You are simply pretending to be. And you have created miracles here on this planet. Going forward, you're sort of getting a little bit of a reprieve right now, where you're able to breathe a little bit more, where you're able to come out of your home, as you're able to socialize a little bit more, grumbling about your masks, feeling censored. And part of that energetic would be true. But here's why. Here's why we say you are not wanting to be told what to do, because you are sovereign beings. You see, you're masters in your own right. You are a spirit having a human experience. You're an angel, basically. And you don't want to be told what to do. You've had enough of that, you see. You know you are a sovereign being. Now, most of you acquiesce because you understand that wearing the mask isn't about me. It is about we, you see. And there are many who are not ready to move into that yet. That is all. That is all. Don't get so angry over these things, dear ones. Live the truth of you. Walk the truth of you. The truth of you is found when you drop into your heart center. Everything else is nothing, really. Oh, you say, I am this and I am that, and I have my opinion, and this is right and this is wrong. Dear ones, how about if we came in and said, what you're doing is wrong. We have a better way. How would that feel for you? Oh, not so good, would it? You are all right. Every single one of you on the planet. Even the ones that you do not disagree with, they're right. It is all a matter of perspective, dear ones. Even the ones who think, or that you think that are the troublemakers, the rabble-rousers, they are doing quite a beautiful service for your planet. Even the politicians who you shake your fists at and you rail against, they are doing amazing things on the planet, bringing things to your attention. Bless them. We are not saying to go so far as to like them. We know that there are limits when it comes to the human identity, to being human. You can dislike them while still loving them. Loving what they're doing for you. Loving what they're doing for the planet. Yes. Drop into your heart space. You will see it'll be very easy to do that. So, dear ones, Stacey is asking to check the time. Indeed, we still have some more time. So, this new timeline you are in, so you're getting a bit of a reprieve right now, where you are able to go into the public, you are able to go have your meals. Some places are opening, some places are still not, are more restricted. But you are sort of getting back into life, but you are also recognizing that it is not the norm that you have been used to. And that is because, again, jumping into this new timeline, nothing, absolutely nothing is going to be what you were used to. And we say thank you for that. Things will even themselves out again. Right now you're getting a bit of a reprieve, and understand it is not God who is doing this to you. This is not us who is doing this for you, to you. It is an energetic thing that you are all creating on a soul level here on the planet. So now you're sort of getting your sea legs, or you're sort of getting your balance. The ship has turned abruptly and you all sort of went to one side, and now the ship is steadying itself. This is where you are now. The ship is steadying itself. You're getting up from where you fell because many of you didn't land so gracefully into this new timeline. Humanity hasn't really landed so gracefully into this new time, like collectively speaking. And now you're getting up and you're straightening your clothes, and some of you are actually putting clothes on after not wearing them for months, after staying in pajamas. We know, we see. And so you're straightening your clothes and you are sort of holding on to one another, getting your bearings, or grabbing onto a railing, or just sitting in a seat, or sitting on the floor. Take a nice deep breath, dear ones. No, it was not such a graceful landing into this new timeline, into this new potential. We understand. Take another deep breath, dear ones. All is well. All is well, regardless of what your human eyes see. Well, you say, professors, you're not here living it. You're right, we are not here living it. And that's exactly why we can look and say all is well, because we are able to pan out, we are able to zoom out, and we are able to see the bigger potentials, the bigger picture here, you see. So you're right. We are not experiencing it. We do not know exactly how it feels. But what we can say to you is all is well. And what we can say to you is going forward, there are some bumps in the road coming up. There is a little bit more division, there is a little bit more outrage, a little bit more outcry that is coming up. And we're not saying this to make you fearful. We're just wanting you to be aware and prepared, so that when you see these things arise, you do not go into fear. You do not go into anger. Feel the fear. Let us backtrack. Go into the fear if you must. That is the body's natural reaction, the human natural reaction. Go into anger. That is the human natural reaction. Which anger is just simply fear. Another form of fear. Outrage, all of that. It just stems from fear. Feel it. Acknowledge it. Say, I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling fearful. I'm feeling outraged. I'm feeling sad. Claim it, but do not stay there. Play the rising, whether you are a Bruce fan or not. Play a happy song. Shift from where you are. Picture how the systems will look, how the financial systems, how the political systems, how your healthcare systems will look when they are in balance and offer equity to all. Focus on that. Because the old systems, they are crumbling. They are crumbling, and they will need to be rebuilt. And it is not good enough for you to hand over your power to your politicians or to your businessmen to make those choices for you. You see, for too long you have handed over your own power. You have done it. And we understand why. So busy you were in trying to maintain a roof over your head, food on your table, or just maintaining a life, wanting to go on vacation and doing all that, which required you to work, and then there are family obligations, or there are other obligations that come up. And so there was, I don't want to deal. I will do my voting every 4 years or every 2 years, and then I will walk away from it. Because I am too busy, I am too bogged down. Now, we are not saying to grab a placard and go out on the street and march. We are not saying call your representatives all of the time. We are not saying any of that. You see, you can precipitate the change in a big way by focusing it on what it is that you want. What is it that you want for yourself? And in connection with yourself, all the rest of humanity. What is it that you want? You have a voice. Pay attention. Everything since your month of February has been saying, pay attention. This virus that showed up, oh, it made you pay attention to your physical existence, didn't it? It made you, forced you to pay attention to your body, didn't it? Ah, you see, there's a clue there. Pay attention. Don't go into the distraction of fear and anger. Don't stay there. Don't linger there. Feel it, but do not linger there. It will not serve you, nor is it going to serve the rest of humanity. Oh, you're much grander than that, dear ones. Much, much, much grander than that. You have a job to do. You chose to be here. You chose to be here to help with this great shift of the ages. You chose to be here to be in this accelerated timeline. And you know why you chose to be here? Because you knew you could do it. You knew you could do it. You knew. Otherwise you would not be here. You knew. You think it is by coincidence that you're sitting in this chair, visiting with us? Oh, no. It is not by coincidence. In fact, we would be so bold as to say, we had an appointment to meet on this night, at this time. Oh, yes, we did. It was part of the potentials we talked about earlier. The potential of meeting in this space together. And this is why these are all occurring. You can do it. You can do it. It is a matter of maintaining your focus, paying attention now. Paying attention. Paying attention to your thought processes, because indeed, thoughts do create things. This is not just some New Age mantra. It is a real thing. When you are in spirit, you sort of think about what it is you are wanting to create, and it just happens. Well, you are not human. You are spirit in a human experience. Your thoughts create. You get enough of your thoughts together, and it reaches critical mass, and that's what gets created on a collective level. Pay attention, dear ones. Pay attention. Now, we are not saying you have to be, all love and light. That is just not realistic. It is not realistic at all. You are in a human experience. Immerse yourself in that human experience. And that means feeling it all, the anger, the sadness, the outrage, the grief, the fear, the joy, the love, the happiness, being ecstatic, the feeling safe, knowing all is well. That's all of it. Feel it. Feel those, what you would consider those lower vibrational feelings, the ones that make you feel down, the ones that make you feel small and little. Feel that if you need to. And then shift that shit, as Stacey would say. And shift it quick. Do not linger there, because you have work to do. You have beautiful worlds to imagine into existence. Indeed. Indeed. And with that, we thank you so much for your time. There are multitudes upon multitudes upon multitudes upon multitudes of your non-physical family cheering you all on and watching you, each of you, in awe. You are a grand being. Never forget it. Never forget it. And if you do, we will be back to remind you. And with that, we wish you a very, very good day. I'm sorry, I always laugh after a chant. Okay then, that was a lot to take in, even for me. That sounded terrible, didn't it? Even for me. I just said it that way because I'm just so used to dealing with them. That's all. So, but that was a lot for me to take in, even after dealing with them all of these years. Anyway, so I want to thank you all for being here again. I was going to do some question and answers, but I think it's just going to be a little too much for me. Right? In fact, even the professor's saying, just let it sit with this for right now. So that's how I'm feeling too. So we'll just let all of this sink in. Remember to drink your water, rest, be kind and gentle with yourselves. Please be kind and gentle with yourselves. We have been through the freaking gamut here. Yeah, just be very kind and gentle with yourselves. Rest if you need to rest. Don't feel guilty about resting. I'll tell you what, I went up earlier to take a nap, and I could have slept all afternoon. So please be gentle with yourself. You are loved more than you're loved more than you even know. I hope you feel that. And if you ever doubt it, drop into your heart space and feel it. Okay, a replay will be available. For those of you who registered, you'll get an email with the replay link. If you could give me about 24 hours for that, I would appreciate it. Some things I have automated, some things I don't. I have to go in and do them manually. This is one of them. I think so anyway, yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Remember, who are you? What are you? You are a physical extension of your soul. You're not just human. Thank you very much. Signing off. Thank you.